What's up, you guys? I think I shrink every day. All right, it's Brandon and Courtney. We're here to talk to you guys. We have decided that our place in the world at this moment, and really in all the moments, is just to try to help and guide you and serve you guys and show you where there's room for growth and shifts. And a lot of you know about our shift project, and I think a lot of you actually still don't, which is okay. But we're gonna spend the next 30 days. We're gonna go live every day, and just try to. Here we go. But we're gonna and it's at your thing, and we're gonna keep these to 10 minutes. Raise your hand if you think we can do that. It's probably not possible, but we're gonna shoot for it. So we're just gonna spend the next 30 days at least, and just see if we can help teach you guys, guide you guys, talk about what we talk about in our inner circle. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, and so we wanna systematically give you guys tools and strategies to deal with chaos right now, or the perceived chaos, and just take care of yourself. So with that, hello when you hop on.
So with that, we're gonna start off this first portion, you guys, is what is great about this problem. All right, so I'll repeat that and let that kind of sink in a little bit for you. Is what is great about this problem? All right, now the reason why I asked that is in our shift program, we talk a lot about questions and how they direct our focus. There's nothing that we do that doesn't start with a question, even on a subconscious level in our mind. And so obviously right now there's a lot of turmoil, chaos, hysteria, whatever you want to label it going on, right? But oftentimes we get into this notion of like, what do you mean? There's nothing good that's coming out of this. Like, the world's ending. Everything's going crazy. People are buying toilet paper all over the place. Like, right, my neighbor's watering his yard for the first time in ever, right? Like, cats and dogs are living together. Like, all kinds of turmoil things going on. But more than anything, you guys, it's understanding that in every scenario of our life, there's an opportunity to learn. There's an opportunity to grow. Every aspect that comes up, is bringing about a sense of something that is trying to teach us, and it wouldn't bring about this sense if it wasn't for us in perfect timing. And I think it took me a long time to understand that life is happening for us, not to us. And I think right now we're seeing the sense of, because we're in a lot of uncertainty, right? There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of different things that are being thrown around in the world. And it's really easy to fall in the trap of, I don't know what's going to happen, right? Like, the world's going to end, right? Like, I need to grab a hold of every ounce of certainty or control or whatever I can grab a hold of, right? And it's understanding that if we can come from a sense of understanding, what is this here to teach me, and how can I learn from this, and how can I grow and potentially maybe serve and contribute, then we can aspire to be more.
So what we want to talk about today is what I think the cool part about this quote unquote problem is. So for many of us, our schedules are really different in the next couple weeks. So if you have kids, your kids are off school, maybe you're working from home, churches have been canceled, events have been canceled, like, there's a whole lot less things going on. Okay, so one of the things that we address in our shift program that we talk about is the idea that, like, it has to be hustle and it has to be hard and we're always going, and like, that's kind of the world we live in. And so you can think about this as, like, actually when you get physically sick, what happens? Your body's like, hey, red flags, guess what? Now you're gonna lay in bed, you're not gonna go to work, you're gonna eat, maybe you're not, but like, life makes you slow down, right? Your body makes you slow down. And in my opinion, I feel like that's sort of what's going on a grander scheme. If we look at the actual reaction to this, right, is that life has given us this gift, right, of saying, hey, guess what, guys? You get to slow down, all right? And the first part of our shift program is called Downshift. And the point of Downshift is slowing down, creating space, finding time, getting out of the hustle, getting out of the stress, getting out of the overwhelm, and like actually being, right? Like, we talk so much about, most of us solve the world or try to solve the world and try to solve the problems from our brain. And if you're currently doing that, you're probably not in the best state of mind, right? You're not in the best feeling. So what we want to teach you is, how do you drop into your body? How do you actually get connected to your intuition and your soul and your heart and the guidance that's coming from there? And so right now, because there's way less stuff going on, you have a beautiful gift of choice to choose to take that time and shift, right? You get to choose to take that time and start to go, okay, so with more time, with my children home, with all of this stuff, what do I get to do? And so the first part of our program is awareness, right? Because without awareness, we don't go anywhere, right? If we're walking around with blinders on and we're just like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, right? We're doing this. This is what I do every day. I get up, I go to work, I run the kids, I go to bed, and you're just in this cycle, right? Like you don't have much awareness. You probably don't around your thoughts or your feelings or your beliefs or the sensations in your body or your reactions. You don't have much awareness around that. So the first step is that we really want to help you guys create awareness and see the gift of this as you have a whole lot more time that you get to choose to fill in positive ways, in ways that align with where you want to go in your life, or you get to choose to fill it with ways that maybe don't align, right? So ways that don't align, drinking too much, avoiding watching too much TV, right? Like going into like the fear side of just like, I'm not going to look at what's going on, or looking at like, okay, what do I get to do at this time? And what do I get to create in this versus what am I trying to control?
Well, and I think, for us is, coaches that know us on the, CrossFit platform, is this conversation we have often with a lot of our athletes, right? Like, listen to your body, start understanding the signals and the sensations that are coming through, because if you're ignoring them, right? Like if you're pushing them away, running away, stifling, enduring, whatever it may be on there, Mother Nature, there's either going to be one of two things going to happen. Either you're going to get injured, or Mother Nature is going to take care of the problem and create a sickness for you and force you to slow down, right? And so yet again, maybe this is an opportunity for all of us to maybe look at the bigger grand scheme of things that what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, right? Like, how are we living our lives? How are we nourishing ourselves? How are we just taking care of ourselves on a day-to-day basis? How are we responding to the people around us, right? Like, are we always in hot? Like, if you're anywhere in the Western culture, typically, you're in hustle mode from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, right? Like, if you didn't get done 8 million things, you're already behind tomorrow as we're going through. So in this, perhaps this is an actual opportunity for us to downshift and to see the world from a different lens, because I think it was Albert Einstein, I could be wrong on this, but essentially said a disease or a problem can't be solved at the same level in which it was caused. All right, so yet again, a disease or a problem, I'm paraphrasing this, but can't be solved in the same level or the same environment in which it was caused. And so in order for us to grow, in order for us to essentially evolve from this, because that as human beings has allowed us to get to this point, like if you look back at the evolution of human beings, there's always been something that we've had to overcome. Right? Like there's always been disease, there's always been viruses, there's always been things that we've had to evolve from and get onto the other side, right? Like if we're looking at things as a level of friction, that's how growth comes from. There has to be friction, there has to be resistance there in order for us to grow and adapt to. So perhaps this is just another level for us to grow and aspire to, but not just on our own standpoint, but maybe it's on a cultural aspect. Maybe it's on a family aspect. Maybe it's understanding that we are more powerful and capable as human beings together to overcome these things and be able to stand on each other's shoulders through these things, as opposed to what tends to be happening right now. And so while we go through this standpoint, you guys, that's our goal with this, is to help everyone look at things from a different lens. Maybe just, you may not agree with everything we have to say, but I know for both of us, this has been a massive journey for us over the last 2.5, 3 years. And we want to share our experiences with you. And perhaps if you are in the state of restriction and turmoil and uncertainty and fear and not knowing where things are going to come from, perhaps this is an opportunity for you to expand and create a different understanding and a different meaning surrounding these things. Because if you can do that, you can relinquish that sense of, oh my Lord, I need to do this and whatever else is going on, to a side of understanding and a side of compassion for not just yourself, but more for those around you. And more than anything, the compassion we need for ourselves, because that's really the bullhorn that's going off within inside us.
So on this, you guys, sort of your assignment, gift, etc. today is going to be for me twofold. So when we talk about awareness, if you've never really gone through that, it's like, well, how do I have awareness, right? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to imagine that you are taking a 10,000 foot view on your life and the lives around you, right? So if you go to the grocery store, like, walk in and be like, I'm not going to get stuck in this hustle and crazy panic, whatever. Like, I'm going to observe this from this far away. Do that for yourself, right? Observe, like, what goes on in what sensations do you have, right? Like, what visceral reactions do you have, right? So observe that, right? Observe, like, what's going on with those people, and without judgment, okay?
Yes.
That's the biggest thing with awareness, is awareness without judgment. You don't know what's going on in their life, and that is not for you to decide, have any opinion about, right? But like, can you observe yourself and them without judgment and with grace, right? And so, can you see your life from 10,000 foot? Can you note your thoughts, and can you observe the sensations in your body? Like when you pull up to the grocery store and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like worse than Black Friday. What does that do for you? Like what physical reaction do you have? Is your body like, oh, I don't want to deal with these people. What's wrong with them? Like, observe that stuff and be aware. And once you can do that, it brings this crazy distance, right? Like I was at the store the other day and I really did feel like I was in a movie, like I was watching a movie, but I wasn't really in it, right? Because I was just in awareness and like, okay, so there's no toilet paper. We're going to run out. The gym's going to run out. Okay, like it doesn't do me any good to freak out about it, which I know for me, and we talk about a lot our story and our like shifts, because I know 2 years ago I would have bought into it, and I would have been a lot more like in the mix of panic and stress, and it didn't feel good, right? And now when you have awareness, and all of this takes time, you guys, right? So we're going to drop concepts on you that are going to build and grow. We don't expect you to be like, oh, I did this, and all of a sudden everything was like, wholly different, right? It's not going to be. But so bring awareness, watch life and yourself from a 10,000 foot view, act like you're on a movie screen. No judgment. Judgment is still going to happen. That's it. You're not going to get rid of that overnight either. But
don't judge yourself for judging.
Exactly. Yeah. So observe the judgment, right? And then start to move through that. Okay. So we're over a 10-minute mark. We are going to do Wednesday night. So Wednesday night, we're going to do a webinar. So a live webinar, it'll be via Zoom, so you guys can be interactive. We always do live coaching with our Shift project on Wednesday night, but we want to open it up to you guys. We're going to do probably an hour-long webinar. We're really going to talk about the 6 human needs, and how that affects you, how it affects the world. And it's going to give you a lot more understanding about probably what's going on with you, with your emotions, with your neighbors, with the people that are, stocking up on toilet paper. So we're going to go through that. So I'll send out I'm going to put out a quick little sign up so you guys can get the info from us when it is the Zoom call, and then the replay if you aren't able to make it live. But plan for Wednesday night at 6:30. Like I said, we're going to be on here for, at least 30 days, just trying to share with you guys any knowledge that we feel will serve you and kind of help through this times of uncertainty and change. Good change, right? All the shifts.
We're over, so we're good.
I took the end, sorry.
Yeah. We're over,
All
so
right,
we're good.
guys, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have stuff that comes through that you want to share with us, we love always hearing from you guys. If you know anybody that you think could get value from this, please share it. That's the best way to get these messages out and to help each other right now is if you hear something good, wherever it is, share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, because you don't know who needs to hear it. So we appreciate you guys. We were kind of close. We're like 3 minutes over. But all right, guys. Hope you have an awesome Saturday. Enjoy whatever you're doing. Go get outside. There might be a virus outside, but go outside.
Get outside. Nice. Vitamin D.
Yeah.
One of the best things you can do for yourself. Get outside. Go connect. Get outside. I mean, be smart. We'll get in more of this, you guys, but get outside. Get up, sun. That's the beautiful thing about being in Colorado.
Yep. And put a smile on your face. All is good. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.